Hi everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to my channel NestArtfully. I'm really sorry about being very erratic with videos the past couple of weeks. It's because, as most of you know, we recently moved to our house here in Goa and it's been an extremely hectic past month with a lot of things to buy and a lot of settling down to do, because as you guys can see, I'm in the kitchen, and when we first came here we had no utensils, no plates, no glasses, no cups, nothing, and now we are in a much better place, thankfully, and so now I can start thinking about doing things like DIYs. If you had seen the first video we did here in this house, which is the home tour, you may have noticed me saying that we don't have any storage space in terms of cabinetry above the countertop. We only have a modular setup below the countertop. So I think it's a great opportunity to do some open shelves. Now, open shelves come and go in terms of trends, but I think it's still a beautiful way to display items that are both functional as well as aesthetic looking, because a lot of food items can look really beautiful and they can just be kept outside. So that's what we're going to do. It's also our first woodworking project. In fact, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I thought this is ideal because it's a simple project, so it's easy to get started on and learn along the way. So I'm going to take you through the whole process. Do stay tuned. So the plan that I have in mind, and I'm going to draw it out as well, is to create a two-tier sort of open shelf system. What I'm thinking of is to have two shelves on the side walls as well as two shelves on either side of the chimney. So on this section of the kitchen we will have a total of 8 shelves. Now, why I'm going for a two-tier sort of shelf setup is mainly because the lower shelf can be for all our functional purposes. So it can hold our spices, herbs, pulses, everything that we're going to use on a day-to-day basis. And the shelf above that I can use for more aesthetic and decor purposes. On the other side of this countertop where we have the sink, now there I'm only going for one long shelf, and that's primarily because I want to see if I can create a setup where we can also keep some basic cutlery like small cups and mugs and glasses and so on outside, because it's again something that we use very often and we keep taking it throughout the day. So let's see, we'll get to the decoration right at the end, but before that we'll have to get started with this very simple woodworking project. I'm so excited about this project today and can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. As I've mentioned earlier, the online learning community Skillshare is greatly helping me navigate the huge challenge that is styling this empty house. And the previous classes have helped me discover a style that I best like and then go ahead and make purchases based on that I'll be happy with. Now I'm discovering that they have some great woodworking classes for beginners like me. I'm currently taking the class Make Your Own Furniture by Oyvind Lee Jacobson, and it talks about the importance of planning a woodworking project. From drawing an accurate design of the project to then creating a mock setup with cardboard before actually working with wood. It also talks about the types of tools and preparation that I need to do before I get started on a project like this. Though I'm keeping this first project extremely simple, the class has definitely motivated me to invest in the right kind of tools and also spend time practicing what I've learned. Skillshare boasts of thousands of classes on various topics, from gardening and home organization to even photography and illustrations. They also have awesome classes by Indian content creators like Lily Singh, who talks about filmmaking and social media growth. Unlimited access to all classes without ad breaks or distractions is available with the annual subscription that costs less than rupees 1,800, which works out to less than rupees 150 per month. And this is cheaper than my recent purchase of Pothos. If any of this interests you, we have a special 1-month free trial exclusively for the first 1000 NestArtfully viewers to click the custom link in the description box below. Now let's get on with the video. The first thing to get started on this project is to find a sawmill or a lumber shop nearby, and we just went into Google to do that. We found a place with some great reviews by hobbyists, so I think that's quite ideal for us. We're just going to go there, talk to them about the ideal wood for this project and how much it's going to cost us. Let's do that, and then we'll come back here and get started with the second step. We're here at the lumber shop and we're looking at the varieties of wood that is available to us for a project like this. We've spoken to them about our needs and we've told them that we're going to be using the wood to create some open shelves in the kitchen. So in terms of cost as well as in terms of the durability of wood, they've suggested pine wood, and that's what we're going ahead with. We're going to take this block of pine wood. However, because transportation is an issue, we want to be able to carry it in our car, so we're going to get it cut here as well. And once again, because of the limitation with tools that we have at home, we are also going to get the surfaces smoothened out here and then take it home for the final finishing, which is going to be the stain and the final varnish, and then we will be able to install it on the walls. To get started on the finishing, here are the tools that we have. So this is a sandpaper. Now in terms of sandpaper, the higher the number on the paper, that means less abrasive the grit. So this is 220 grit, which is less abrasive, so less likely to scratch the wood. Because I'm just starting out, I'm being very careful in terms of how I'm going about it, because I can definitely and very easily make mistakes. And then beyond this, we have some other products again from Asian Paints. So Asian Paints, the crack seal is what we're going to pretty much use for any pits and crevices in the wood. So because it's natural wood, it tends to have these imperfections which we can just fill up before we use the stain. Next, after sanding, after we remove all the dust particles, we can get started on staining. I've got the Asian Paint stain in two colors. One is red brown and the other one is teak. So teak is the color that is a better match because we tried it out on a piece of wood. So this is teak and this matches the cabinets we already have. The other red brown looks like this, and this is for another project. So for now we're going to stick with teak. And then lastly, we can use any sort of varnish. Again, there are many options. A little bit of Google reading I did made my head spin. So I'm no expert. I'm not going to be talking about all these things in detail. I'm just going to get started and tell you how my experience is as it goes. It's the following day. We had to give 2 final coats of varnish on top of the coat of stain, and ideally we are supposed to give a gap of 10 hours between the coats of varnish. So we tried to stick to that as much as possible. So they've been drying out on the terrace all this while. It's the following afternoon and I think it's ready because it's very dry to touch now. It's ready for the next and final step, which is installation. I'm going to quickly take you guys through the tools that we've purchased for the installation and how I'm going to put it up. Now that we can finally install these shelves on the wall, the first thing that we needed to buy were brackets. So we got these L-shaped brackets. They come in various sizes and even more intricate designs like the ones we used in our Singapore house. But for this, we wanted something really simple because I can eventually paint it the same color as the wall and it'll blend in seamlessly. So along with the brackets, we needed screws, one to go into the wood and hold it in place and the other to go into the wall. So for the wall we got 2-inch long screws, and for the wood, considering the wood was only 1 inch thick to start with, and then with the shaving and smoothing done, it's kind of gotten even thinner. So we cannot use long screws as it tends to damage the wood and cause splintering. So we've gotten these 3/4 of an inch screws and they are perfect. So now what I'm going to do is drill these in. For the wall, we also need something called wall plugs for the screws to sit in. And besides this, for the drilling activity itself, we have our drilling machine here. This is an old gift from my father-in-law, and we've used it plenty back in our home in Bangalore to do all sorts of DIYs, and of course to put together our lamps and all of that ourselves. So now once again it's useful after being on a break for the past couple of years. So for this you will need some drill bits. Now there are different drill bits for concrete and for wood, so we've got both, and they also come in various sizes. So depending on the size of the hole, or rather the size of the nail that you're going to be using, you can choose the corresponding drill bit and then go about. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is mark the spot where the L brackets need to sit on these planks, and for that I'm going to just take a measurement of about 3 inches from either end of the plank, because I feel that way the brackets will sit more evenly and distribute the weight more evenly across the whole plank. And once I do that, I'll use the drilling machine to drill holes, put in the screws, secure these L brackets to the plank. I wanted to be able to hang my mugs beneath one of the shelves, and so I've got these screw-in hooks. They're a little shallow, but they will get the job done. So hopefully once this is in place, I'll be able to keep my mugs out and access them in an easier manner. We can now get started with installing these open wall shelves. Now I just wanted to point out why we've used the brackets in 2 different formats. One where the entire bracket comes below the plank, and one where the plank sits within the bracket. And that's mainly because with this sort of setup we'll be using up about 4 inches of wall space above the tile. Whereas in the other setup where we have the plank sitting within the bracket, we will not waste that space and it can sit flush on top of where the tile section ends, and that means we'll be saving up that much space, makes it easier to reach items too. With all the shelves installed, it's time to start putting things up on it. Now I'm trying to avoid using plastics as much as I can, especially for storage purposes. I'm trying to opt for either glass or stainless steel. Both are great options, but since we are doing open shelves and I'm going to keep items out in the open, it'll be great to see them through the container, and so I've chosen glass containers. Now I've picked a couple of them in different sizes and types based on what I'll be using them for. So these are some of them. This can be a great container for like some spices or herbs. So once I've put in all the food items into these glass jars and bottles, I'll be setting it up and hopefully it turns out good.
Clouds and thunders standing in my way, but I must try to figure it out anyway. Songs of worries travel with the storm, but I must try to figure it out alone. Yeah, I must try to figure it out alone. And now, ooh, when you're gone, ooh, I know things won't be the same no more. must try to figure it out alone. And now, ooh, when you're gone, ooh, I know.
I shuffled the products and items around on the shelves until I was completely happy with the placement. So the shelf along the sink area holds all the glassware, cups, mugs and so on and so forth. The rest of the shelves hold our spices, pulses and other items that we use in our day-to-day cooking. Now the one tip that I'd like to give when it comes to creating an open shelf display such as this in terms of aesthetics is to actually look for containers that have a similar shape or size and then bunch those together. So it gives you a very clean and almost a minimal look even when you have a lot of those units on a single shelf. So that's what we've done here, and I think it looks really nice, makes it look very organized and neat, and still gives you variety because food is something that's naturally so beautiful. It comes in so many different colors and textures, and since these are glass bottles, every glass bottle holding a different item gives you that variety while the bottle shape and the size remains the same. So that's something you guys can look into. Now when it comes to budget, I think this was quite budget friendly because all the wooden planks that we bought in terms of after the finishing costed us around 6,000 rupees. Now if I had to buy a finished open wooden shelf on the internet, it would have cost at least 3,000 rupees per small shelf, and I wouldn't have been able to create this sort of a setup and still have a lot of plans to create other DIYs around the house. So I think this is a great way to go about it. You just, we've never done this before, so the difference between having something like this done and not is just getting started on a project. So that's what we did, and really happy with the way it turned out. It's given us the confidence that we need to go for far more complex projects than this one. That being said, I think I really like the way it looks, at the same time the way it feels so functional, because it's just so easy to take products off a shelf that you don't have to open. It's right there where you're cooking, and then you can put it back just as easily. So staying organized is a piece of cake, and at the same time it just looks so colorful and good. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and took away something from it. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.